Hello, hello, happy Sunday. Hello, hello. Come on in the room and get settled. We will start very, very shortly. Hope you all had a peaceful and restful weekend. Mine felt very short. But however the length felt for you, I hope it was peaceful overall. Let's see. Start in just a moment. Hello, everyone. I am Soleil. Jesus. I'm Soleil. I am cover mother of Vision of Dawn Tour. I am founder and facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship Program. I am your weekly reader, and I'm a dope bitch straight up out of Oakland. Hello, hello, hello. You are here for the weekly reading. This is where we come together and we talk about the energy of the week ahead, and we prepare accordingly, so that we don't go into this thing called life completely blindsided. I have 4 spreads I need to get through: a general, a romance, a health, and a money reading. We will get into that very, very shortly. As you come into the room, say hello. Say hello and leave a comment in the comment section so that I know who's here. I like this space to be as interactive as possible. If you are here because you saw me announce in a group, sorry, I said I was going to stop digging in my bra in here. Today's not that day. If you are here because you saw me post in a group saying that I was going to answer questions for the audience, I most certainly will. I always do. That comes after I get through the general reading. So my request of you as an audience member is to just sit tight, listen to the general reading first. Typically, because a lot of the times the question that you all have typically will get addressed in the general. So just go ahead and let me get through the general first, and then I'll pause, give updates about things I'm offering, and then take questions from the audience, okay? As soon as I get this Palo lighted to my liking, we will get started. It's a couple of you in the room and you still haven't said hello to me. Say hi. Say hi. Say something in the comment section. Let me know who's here so that I know who I'm interacting with, okay? And we will get started in just a moment. So I found my anime tarot deck, which you guys know is my tried and true that I've been using quite a bit until the last month, but I found it. So we're going to be using that this week, okay? Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me. My elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about the week ahead? Give us insight into the energies that lie ahead of us over the next 7 days. Provide insight about the lessons, blessings, challenges, and breakthroughs we will encounter during June 29th through July 5th. Anything that needs to be brought into the light and illuminated, bring it into the light now, so that we know how to best prepare and protect ourselves. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. King of Wands fell out in the shuffle. It's really important that you stand in your confidence this week, that you believe in yourself. And the reason why this is coming up is because a lot of the things that you are seeing in your life, a lot of the things that you are building for yourself, Other people aren't going to understand. It's low key not their responsibility to understand, right? Would it be great if we had everyone in our lives and in our corner in agreement with how we move? Yeah, but sometimes the risk you need to take and the action that's going to propel you forward, other people aren't going to get it, right? And that's the reason why the King of Wands here. It's through his deep belief in himself as well as his charisma and confidence that he's able to enroll people into his vision, right? That's a side effect of his charisma. It's not always his goal necessarily, right? Um, and there's a lot coming up in the spread that shows that we're going to be dealing with some imposter syndrome, as well as a fear around losing investment, right? And it's really important that you don't let any difficulty, any roadblock you hit, any delay you experience make you give up. That is the last thing you need to do. It may not look right. It may not look right to other people, and it may feel anxiety inducing for you. But that doesn't mean that you betray yourself by giving up on you. You need to believe in you more than anybody. Ace of Swords and the Queen of Swords were stuck together, so I'm going to read them together, right? As new wisdom and information comes into your life, it is important that you navigate it with a sense of emotional control and determination, right? This has not been the smoothest year for a lot of people. And it would be really easy to let the bumps and the hurdles and the obstacles of this year lead you to embitterment, which is a debilitation of the Queen of Swords, right? When she is hurt and she can't heal from that hurt, she becomes embittered. That does not serve any of us, right? Especially because we are still getting wisdom and information that's going to give us insight about how to execute our goals, how to move forward. The wisdom of the Ace of Swords is meant to not just change your mindset, but shift it in a way that allows for a change in action, right? A change in habits to follow along with it. So it is really important that you give yourself what you need to feel emotionally and safe and protected this week, as opposed to falling in the energy of the Four of Pentacles, which puts you in isolation, which puts you in hiding, which makes you suspicious, which makes you tightly wound, right? Money can't grow in a Four of Pentacles energy. Opportunity can't breathe in a Four of Pentacles energy. Four of Pentacles is an energy of playing not to lose instead of playing to win, right? And with a lot of what's coming up in your life in terms of the change you're calling in, you have to play to win. You can't play to not lose. You can't be out here being safe and being scared, right? Now, again, why am I bringing up the difficulties of this year? Well, for a lot of us, it has made, and I'm using us because this is a collective reading, right? A lot of us have had experiences that even though we're working hard, even though we're refining a skill set, even though we know that the sacrifice and the determination and the deep sense of study that we have been in is going to put us in a position of prosperity in the future, in this moment, it feels difficult and we are battling imposter syndrome. Okay? And here's the thing, imposter syndrome only comes up when you feel like you are not worthy of or you don't believe in your own talent, right? It is a false belief. It's not rooted in reality. You are worthy of everything you worked for, and you are going to receive what you worked for. So do not let any temporary difficulty make you believe that you have to give up or that you're in the wrong place. You're not in the wrong place. You're in the right place. Okay? Some of us are going to be sad this week. That's why this is coming up. We're going to be sad. We're going to be looking over what we've lost, mourning things low-key that probably aren't even good for us, right? Crying over spilled milk, focusing on spilled cups. And that is why that King of Wands energy is necessary. Because if we get so wrapped up in what we lost that we don't nurture and focus on the cups that are still full, the opportunities that are still fruitful, the love that's still in our corner, the safety that we have, right? If we neglect that to hyperfixate on what we've lost, we will only create evidence through self-deception and confusion that further feeds that imposter syndrome, okay? That is, again, I want to go back to the Queen of Swords. That is why this week, the way you talk to you and the boundaries you hold, what you take in, what you listen to, is super important, because you don't need to feel emotionally unsafe with your thoughts right now, right? Because it's too easy for you to deceive yourself into giving up right now. It's too easy for you to assume that just because you hit a bump in the road, that there's no hope or faith in the future, right? And we don't need the self-sabotage, the self-deception, or the confusion right now. To add on to that, yes, this Seven of Swords is talking about self-deception, but it is too easy for people around you to say things that fuck with your mentality right now, right? Your business and your focus this week has to be on standing your ground and fighting for what you want and going after what you believe in, even if the other people around you don't see it, don't understand, or don't believe it themselves, right? This is why your emotional strength and safety is important this week. There could be somebody in your life who loves you down, but accidentally says some hating ass shit that really, really hurts your feelings, okay? And if you're already in that Five of Cups energy of depression and counting your losses more than you count your wins, if you are already in the spirit of feeling like a risk is going to break you and leaning into isolation and hiding, right? If you're already in the mentality where you can't see clearly and you're deceiving yourself, having somebody that you actually fuck with and whose opinion matters to you say something to humble you or to confuse you or bring you down to size, that can really, really fuck you up, right? So to summarize this, there are a lot of tender feelings this week. And it's because realistically, a lot of you all, I don't want to say you aren't where you thought you would be this year, but you are a little jaded by how much you've had to fight and how difficult things have been and some of the upsets you may have experienced in this first half of the year. That does not mean that you aren't capable, that you aren't well trained, that you aren't worthy. And if you let the things that you've experienced these last 6 to 8 months put you in the spirit of imposter syndrome, if you allow yourself to fall into rumination that brings up depressive feelings, right? That will cause you to betray yourself and to feel like you are constantly fighting to prove yourself to other people, to prove that you should be doing something. And low key, because a lot of us are already in this energy of burnout and depression, these people may actually knock you down the size and knock you off your square, okay? Be careful this week. This is why that King of Wands fell out. Your personal confidence and charisma, your deep belief that you are worthy, your understanding of your natural leadership, and your deep belief in the dream you are creating yourself is what's going to get you through this week, okay? It is a necessity for your survival. Because if you don't lean into this King of Wands energy, it's really easy for you to get wrapped up in a thought process that makes you betray yourself. And that self-betrayal can cause you a lot of pain for the remainder of the year. I know this is a weekly reading, but this is a warning about what you do in this tender time, in this pivot into the rest of the year, okay? So that is the general reading for this week. Let's go into love next. Spirit is telling me to go into love next. Let me wet my whistle really quickly. Hey, Nicole. Hey, Aisha. Hey, Nero. Hey, Stanidra. Thank you all for joining. It's good to see you. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What do we need to know about love, romance, and matters of the heart this week. Who do we need to be and what do we need to see about ourselves, our habits, and our environments that will allow us to have the experiences of love and be loved by those we want to share love with, to connect with. If there are any obstacles, challenges, hurdles, burdens, breakthroughs, or blessings in this area of life, illuminate them now so that we know how to best prepare and protect ourselves. Any wisdom shared is appreciated. Gentle reminder that as you come into the room, say hello. Talk to me, I talk back. I try to keep these readings as interactive as possible. So saying hi, hitting those scale emojis, letting me know who's here with me, helps me in facilitating that process, okay? This is super, super specific. So I just want to say that in first before I read this, because this may hit some people very specifically or very deliberately, while some of you guys, because that's the thing about general readings, you got to chew the meat and spit out the fat. So some of this may not relate to the majority, but this is super, super specific. I do want to, anytime there are synchronicities and patterns, I just mention them so that you guys know that they're there. 2 spreads in, Queen of Swords has already come up a second time, okay? In the first row, we have the 2 of Swords, the 3 of Swords, and the 6 of Swords. So whole first row, all swords, right? And when it comes to love and romance, there are some of you who there's something going on about your love life that you are actively and openly ignoring because you don't want to make a decision around it. Now, for some of you guys, this is super specific. There's something happening in your romantic relationship and you are turning a blind eye to it because you don't want to be the heavy or you don't want to have another argument or niggas is cheating, okay? you're lying to yourself about it. That feeling is there for a reason. Stop denying what you see and make the decision that you need to make. For some of you all, this is a lot more gentle or and it's more about the indecision about how you're handling your love life, right? Some of you guys may be saying, you know, I want a partner, but you don't go anywhere to meet nobody, right? You may be in a back and forth situationship, and instead of ending it definitively, you are wishy-washy about it. Make the decision, and make the decision this week. The thing is, you're just prolonging heartbreak, right? Part of the reason you're avoiding the decision is because you're afraid of what comes with it and the heaviness and the weight of that. Here's the thing. If there's going to be heartbreak, it's going to be there. Learn the lesson, integrate the information and the wisdom of the lesson instead of pushing it off and avoiding it, because all that's doing is stunting your growth. It's stunting your maturation. It is limiting your opportunity for expansion. If you know that motherfucker's cheating on you, leave him, her, or they, so that way you can have your heartbreak, mourn, and clear the space for the next person. Stop avoiding whatever the heartbreaking thing is that's related to love, because that is what's making it hard for you to move forward. You would rather sit in the discomfort that you know than let yourself have the pain so you can move forward and go into something that, yeah, it's going to be better for you, but you don't know what it is. There's no guarantee. That's the conundrum of the 6 of Swords. I know that what I'm going towards is better for me, but it's not concrete. It hasn't been laid out for me yet. I have to just rely on the trust of these waters, my emotions, and I have to just rely on the waters of my intuition. I have to rely on the wisdom of my spirits. And that can be scary for people who are highly logical. And again, swords, logic, right? You want things clear. But it's ridiculous to accept pain and stagnation because you're afraid of learning as you go along the way, right? And that's part of what's happening with some of you guys. Now, a couple of you, it's literal cheating. You're acting like you don't see what you see and you're gaslighting yourself. Get out of that shit. But for others of you, it's more about your habits, right? You're sitting there complaining about the fact that you are attracting partners that aren't ambitious. You aren't ambitious yourself. So what can you do to shift that? What painful thing do you have to break through to change that so that you can go down a journey that is different, that's better for you, and having different and better experiences? Again, that's why this Queen of Swords is coming back up. Are you going to choose to be embittered, or are you going to choose to be better? Queen of Swords, turning your test into testimony, learning from the difficult lessons, turning that into wisdom that makes you sharper, more discerning, right? More wise in how you move in life. Some of you all, and this may be heavy, some of y'all can benefit from a love and romance reading, really. Part of the reason why you're doing this is because this is generational, right? Ten of Pentacles is generational wealth, but it can also, in its debilitation, be generational curses, right? There's some sort of habit you need to break through, yes, for yourself and your own inner strength and emotional strength, but you need to break it so that you understand that breaking that habit actually brings wealth into your family. It actually shifts the energy of your bloodline to something that is much more expansive and aligned, right? That's why I know that it's cheating, right? Some of you guys have partners that are in kind of, and I'm not trying to be mean, in this knuckle dragging ass energy. And even though it's causing you a lot of pain and turmoil, you're just like, well, that's what my mama accepted. That's what my grandma accepted. That's what my great grandma accepted. So who am I to think I deserve better? You are somebody who is meant to turn their pain into wisdom. That's who the fuck you are. You are somebody who is meant to shift these habits in your bloodline. That's who you are. You sitting here thinking that your love life is just about you. You sitting here thinking that your romantic life is just about you. No. God forbid you marry the person, you have some children. That's about your bloodline. Right? You replicating habits that you haven't learned anything from, and you're just going by rote. That's about your bloodline. Right? So that's another reason why, again, going back to this Three of Swords, this thing that you're confronting out of fear and cowardice has bigger consequences and bigger lessons attached to it. And just because it's in your personal romantic life doesn't mean that it don't have to do with the spirits. And we know this because we have the Judgment card. Your ancestors have been telling you to cut this shit off for a while. And again, because of fear of discomfort, you've been avoiding it. But now you're at the point where this week, you know how that meme is going around where people are saying, you know, the saxophones are getting louder and louder. That's what's happening to you this week. Judgment card is low key. The saxophone's getting louder and louder. You can't run from the message anymore, right? When it comes to love and romance this week, you really got to sit in reflection and ask yourself, am I living a romantic life that reflects what my inner spirit wants for me, that reflects calling in love that heals my bloodline, calling in love in a way that allows me to heal myself, right? Calling in love in a way that allows me to learn from my pain and turn it into wisdom so that I don't replicate the same heartache, not only in my bloodline, but in my partnerships, right? Are you moving that way, or are you just moving out of habit? That's something you're only going to be able to come into terms with through hermit-like reflection, through getting back in alignment with your own inner spirit. Again, some of you guys are running in survival mode and avoidance. And so you're just doing certain things when it comes to love and romance out of habit to keep yourself from learning what you have to learn because you're afraid of who you are forced to be in the journey on the other side of that wisdom. Virgo is saying it's time. It's time to get serious. That hermit energy of that Virgo energy of the hermit card is saying it is time to be real with ourselves and get critical about how we are creating our own stagnation and what it is we need to do to shift it. I know that some of y'all were watching this and were hoping that I was going to tell you, you'll meet your baby daddy at the grocery store or whatever. But, unfortunately, until you do this inner work, you're probably not going to meet your forever person. And if you don't do this inner work, you will take on a karmic trying to convince yourself that that's your forever person. So please heed this wisdom. Because again, I want to go back to that judgment card. The saxophones are getting louder and louder. Your spirits have been saying this to you already. Part of the reason why you even have this suspicion about this person betraying you and playing in your face is because your spirits have been telling you stuff. So take control over how you experience this painful lesson so that you can actually learn from it, okay? That's enough about the romance reading. I feel like I went on that one for a little longer than I wanted to. But I hope that you guys get the message. I hope that it's clear and it makes sense. Let's look at what's in store for us when it comes to our mental, physical, and spiritual health and wellness this week, okay? Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need at this time when it comes to our mental, physical, and spiritual health and wellness over these next 7 days? What are the habits we need to lean into, lean off of, or maintain in order to keep ourselves in good, holistic health of mind, body, and spirit? If there are any challenges or blessings in this area of life, eliminate them now so that we know how to best prepare. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Hi, Rachel. Thank you so much for joining. Rachel, have you been here before? Your name looks unfamiliar to me. Welcome. Welcome if this is your first time joining us. And welcome back if you've been here before, okay? And let me know what you think so far of the reading, okay? If you are tired, rest. Some of you guys are extremely burnt out, painfully burnt out. And not only do you need rest, you also need protection. A lot of the burnout that you are experiencing is coming from overcommitting, particularly overcommitting to things that aren't your responsibility. Okay? Now, here's the thing. You've done this overcommitting for so long that once you start putting boundaries into place and saying no to things, it is going to be painful to say no to those things and put them down. But hey, you got to do it, right? Because you low-key can't continue working at the rate that you are. You can't continue the output that you've been putting in. Clarify the double card. What is the double card trying to teach us? Hermit card has come back up again. So this is a week of reflection, not only reflection over your progress, as we talked about in the general spread, not only reflection over your love habits and unconscious thoughts, but also just reflection over your vices. What I'm seeing here is that there are quite a few of us watching either live or in the replay where when we get burnt out, instead of resting, instead of taking care of ourselves, instead of hydrating, we purge on our vices thinking that that's going to do something, and then we just go straight back into the overwork. And that is the painful cycle that needs to end. It needs to end because not only is it not allowing your body to recuperate in the way that it needs so that you can have the clarity to get back to the work that you're doing, it's going to kill you. I hate to say it that way. It's not going to kill you tomorrow, but it will lead to early death. And that's why this is coming up in the context of a health reading, okay? Some of you all are still engaging in a lot of the same coping mechanisms that you saw your mother, fathers, aunties, uncles, elders do. And those are not healthy habits, okay? So working 60 to 70 hours a week and then just numbing yourself with alcohol when you get home, taking on 12 and 16-hour shifts and living off of fast food instead of doing meal prep and having fresh fruit, right? Having frustrations from work that you can't verbalize to your superiors in a healthy way, and bringing that anger home and taking it out on your spouse or children. Those are all unhealthy habits. They're not sustainable. It's important that you get real and honest with yourself about how you inherited those habits from watching the people around you, and that you do the work of, this is inner child healing, right? We think of inner child healing and we want to think it's coloring books and trips to the park. And sometimes it is. But that father energy, that discipline energy, that reparenting through refathering yourself requires discipline around changing your habits. Okay? So 9 of Wands, almost, I would caution to say, damn near all of y'all who are watching this live or in the replay are burnt out. You have that wounded warrior energy. You are resilient, yes, but nigga, you tired of being resilient. You are exhausted. You're worn out. It's starting to show up on your physical body. People love you and they're not gonna say shit to you, but it's showing up on your physical body in different ways, either through weight gain or dry skin or your hair. Something's going on with you where other people are starting to see the burnout and the exhaustion and the fact that you are at capacity, right? And this is why the Ten of Swords is here. You can't keep this up anymore. There's no way you can keep this up anymore. So you either make the painful choice to take on the painful decisions and cut some things off and figure out what you got to let go of and work it out, or you do what you, low-key, a lot of you are already doing now, which is continue to numb yourself and to avoid. You guys know my favorite representation of this card is in this Modern Witch deck. I'm not going to go through to find it, but it's very similar to the traditional one where the person is bleeding out on the ground, but instead of her getting up to rip out the sword, she's just staring at her cell phone. That's what a lot of us are doing, right? We're not doing anything to change the conditions that have put us into the spirit of burnout, because we know that changing those conditions is tough, right? You're going to have to say no to some things. You're going to have to cut off some stuff that actually may bring you pleasure in the long run, but whatever, it's just not sustainable, right? Because we don't want to do that. We don't want to go through the pain of making a major change. We're doing a whole lot of numbing and self-soothing. And this is a habit that is inherited, right? 6 of Cups, inner child healing. You watched people do this, right? You probably have a mom or a grandmother, elder in your family that literally from the time they woke up in the morning to the time they went to bed at night, overworked themselves for everybody else, right? And then they leaned on some sort of vice that was not helpful for them. That's what a lot of us are doing. Through inner child work and inner child healing, we have to stop this. We have to discipline ourselves out of that habit, okay? Because that devil card energy, this is turning into an attachment. It's an attachment that not only impacts our spiritual and mental health, it's an attachment that is going to impact your physical health. I'm sorry. I am not anti-alcohol. I love a glass of wine. But you cannot have alcohol every single day without it fucking up your blood pressure, without it fucking up your liver and your kidneys, right? you can't eat seafood boil every day, right? Like you can't eat these high blood pressure foods. You can't smoke weed every day. Whatever the vice is, right? That you're using to get yourself through this exhaustion and this burnout, it is going to start having some fucked up consequences over your physical and mental health over time, right? So again, this hermit card coming back up, reflection, being honest with yourself, being critical in a way that brings you in alignment with your inner spirit. So you're moving from your inner spirit around what you know is best for you instead of just doing things out of habit because you see other people do that shit, right? Moving in strength and authenticity. Some of you guys don't want to have this double card conversation because you don't think you're strong enough to quit this vice. Haha. You don't think you're strong enough. Sun card says bullshit. Sun card is the lion. It's Leo. We can do anything. And also, whatever the vice is that's fucking up your physical appearance, whether it's drinking, drying out your skin, fucking up your hair, right? Whether it's smoking that's fucked up your lips or your whatever it is, remember that sun card is vain. Leos are vain. So if for anything, let the vanity step in and make you get in alignment, make you get real and honest with yourself, get critical about what the cost of this vice has been to your physical health, right? Sit down with yourself, write it out, and think about the version of yourself that you want to see in the future, right? Some of you guys are cigarette smokers. And you guys have even said to me, I don't want to, when I think about my highest self, when I think about the version of myself that I'm manifesting in the next couple of years, I don't see myself smoking cigarettes. Okay, write that down. Get real with yourself. Start visualizing that version of yourself so that it makes it easier for you to do the things you need to do for the sake of your health. And here's the thing, even though the devil card is telling me that some of you guys aren't doing this, even though you know you need to do it because you fear that you don't have the strength to, it's really not that hard. It's really not that hard. That's the thing that's crazy. It's like as soon as you make the change, you're going to see such a shift in your body. You're going to have such a reinvigoration around your passions, around your energy. It's going to happen super, super quick. But you need to do it, right? The burnout is external. Absolutely. It is a result of the fact that there are a lot of us watching live or in a replay, working hard, scratching and surviving, figuring things out. But what you are doing to yourself and with yourself to navigate that difficulty, right? In terms of leaning into your vices to cope, it's not going to work long term. It's only impacting your health negatively. And it's really important that this be the week that you start getting honest with yourself about it so that you can develop a plan to leave those habits alone so that they don't negatively impact your physical and mental health further, okay? I've missed this anime deck. It's so fucking clear. I don't know if you guys can hear the difference in the reading from last week and this one, but I love this deck down. I really do. It's so, so clear. Let's do the money reading, and then I'll get into announcements, and then we'll wrap up with readings from the audience, okay? Hey, MJ, good to see you. Hey, La Balin, welcome, welcome. Oh, you missed me? I missed you too. You know what's crazy? I forgot that I was gone and I wasn't on here for 2 weeks. Yeah, I've only been back on here for the last week and a half. I forgot that I was gone for a little while. Let's see. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What wisdom do we as a collective need about money, prosperity, expansion, and abundance during the week of June 29th through July 5th? If we have any blockages in the realm of prosperity, money, and expansion, reveal them now. If there are any blessings coming our way, illuminate them now so that we know how to best prepare ourselves to receive them and protect ourselves so that we can keep them. Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Clarify the tower. What do we need to know about the tower? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Yeah. Even if you lose an opportunity this week, even if you lose a little bit of money this week, even if you take some sort of setback, be very, very careful. No, that's not the right language. Give me the language spirit. Rest easy. Rest peacefully. Even if you lose something this week, even if you don't hit a particular target, even if a collaboration falls through or you receive some sort of disappointment in the workplace, rest peacefully anyway, right? There is something that is being removed and it's going to feel heartbreaking for you. Do not spiral. It's being removed to clear the space for something new. And that something new is actually super, super clear. And you would not be able to have expansion if you clutch to the thing that needs to be moved. Now, here's the thing. You're going to be pissed about the way that it is removed from your life because we have the Hierophant, right? Hierophant in its debilitation is a tyrant. It is somebody who abuses their power. It is somebody who does not, because we think that when people have authority themselves, that means that they respect authority. And that is a fucking lie. When Hierophant is in debilitation, it represents somebody that has a lot of authority or power, or are perceived to have that, and they abuse it, okay? So that's part of the reason why this is going to feel hurtful, because it is going to come as a result of somebody abusing or misusing their power in your life. The thing about when we encounter debilitated Hierophant energy, though, is that we ourselves have to respond to that in aligned Hierophant, which is being spiritually disciplined, right? Which is having a sense of protection and routine, which is making sure that we are so on our square spiritually, right? In terms of the processes we have in our lives, that it keeps us safe and moving forward. I hope that makes sense. That is why, even when this happens, you need to rest. Because yes, you are losing something. And yes, there is going to be work required to make sure that you're okay outside of that. But you can't do that work. You can't move forward in terms of figuring out how to navigate whatever was taken away if you are emotionally a wreck and you are spent. Rest peacefully. Let your body heal so that you can take on the next fight and next battle with your energy reserves up and a sense of peace and clarity. Okay? But we got the tower. Tower is something is shedding. Something that you have been operating around as though it is meant to be stable is going to be removed from you. It's just going to happen. And whenever tower is one of those cards, whenever I get it, in a collective reading, I pull clarifiers over it because I know it makes people panic. And I got the Six of Pentacles. So yes, it sucks that this is being removed, but you can't get the charity and the blessing support that's due to you if you don't let this fall. Let this shit get out of your way so that people can pour into you. You can get the blessings that are due to you. Do not get wrapped up in fear and spiral and project your fears into reality. Do not imprison yourself with negative thinking. Because if you do that, then you're not even going to be able to see clearly where the blessings are coming from, where the overflow is going to be poured into you. Second time Two of Wands has come up. If you are not already meditating, make sure you're meditating. Make sure you're doing your visualizations. Make sure you're journaling. Make sure that you're spending more time fantasizing about, visualizing, writing out, and calling in what you want for yourself than you do crying over whatever the loss or the bump in the road is when it comes to your money, okay? Another thing that I'm seeing here, actually, let me pull clarifiers over this too, just to be certain. Clarify the Six of Cups, ancestors. What is the Six of Cups trying to tell us about money, prosperity, and expansion this week? Any was shared is deeply appreciated. Yeah. Yes. Being honest with yourself about the fact that whatever this was that is lost, whoever this person is that abused their position in your life, the only reason why it was able to happen that way is because of some outdated or false belief implanted into a younger version of yourself, particularly around external validation and people pleasing, right? Being very, very wise, but not trusting your own voice and putting too much authority in the hands of the wrong people, which is a Page of Swords thing, right? That is what led you there. And so again, going back to the Tower and how you should engage in it, instead of, gnashing your teeth and crying and being worked up over why God is this happening to me, be grateful that you're learning this lesson now. Be grateful for the wisdom that is going to keep your cups full in the future. Because now that you have this information, and now that you know that this is a false belief you need to let go of, you won't end up back in this position again. And that is a blessing. So be grateful for the wisdom instead of mourning the wisdom, okay? And then I love this. Love, love, love this. We end with the Strength card. This is another reason why you can't sweat whatever minor loss you have this week. Stop forgetting who the fuck you are. You are capable of meeting any challenge head on. You got this. You can bounce back from this fucking easily. Through your own authenticity, through your own belief in who you are, through your awareness of what your strengths are and your reliance on them, you're gonna be fine, right? Whatever this loss is, it is super, super minor. And the only reason why it hurts you the way it is because you know that you would not have ended up in this situation if you did not trust the authority of someone else over yourself. If you did not believe in your own ability to be spiritually discerning and disciplined. If you didn't put all this hope and faith into someone else's direction and advice. That's the only reason why you feel that way. But whatever the financial loss is, it's a drop in the bucket compared to not only the support and the blessings that you have coming to you that are going to be replaced by that. It is a drop in the bucket when you think about the wisdom that it provides you with. So again, even in the loss, think about what's next. Think about the blessings you're calling in. Don't spiral. It's not worth spiraling. And you're too strong for that shit. You're too strong for that. And it's when you're in your strength that you're able to bounce back, that you're able to find solutions. Not in your worry, not in your panic, okay? We are now at the end of the reading. Thank you all for joining me. I'm going to just give a couple of updates about things that I'm working on and offering. I will take questions from the audience. It's the weekly reading, weekly wisdom reading. So this is a time for general questions if you have them. But I know that a few of you weren't able to catch Astro Hour live. So if there is anyone that did want either a full moon reading, since the full moon is tomorrow, or a Jupiter in Leo reading, since Jupiter since Jupiter enters Leo on Tuesday the 30th. I'm more than happy to give those as well. My Cash App and my PayPal are both scrolling below. So just go ahead and send your love offering and then put a comment in the comment section so that I know that you want a reading. While you all are doing that, I'm going to go ahead and update you on some of the things that I'm working on. 2 more days left to book your dream interpretation readings at the discounted price of $85 if you want one. On Wednesday, July 1st, they will go back up to their original price of $125, okay? So if you want a dream interpretation reading, go ahead and head to soleilconjureshop.com to book your dream interpretation while it is still at the discounted price of $85. The link to the dream interpretations is also in the description box. Okay. I will be returning to my financial trauma recovery series. I know that I stated that I would be returning on June 1st, but I forgot that I teach that night. So our first financial trauma recovery course, which is free, the first 2 are going to be free here on the YouTube channel. All the ones after that will have a small fee attached. But the first one that is free will be here at 8 p.m. on January 8th. Okay, January 8th is now the new date. What else? On July 1st, just pay attention. If you're on the Facebook group, keep your eye open. If you're on my email list, keep your eye open. The monthly special for July will be announced on July 1st. And yeah, that's just pretty much it. Pathways to Power, which is the road opening ritual, will be happening July 20th through the 24th. If you know that you need breakthrough in an area of your life, if you feel like you are dealing with some closed roads, if you just want to learn road opening work in general, join us for Pathways to Power. The link to the WhatsApp group, the WhatsApp intake group is below. I do need to schedule a live with Kodan so that we can come on here, talk about the necessity of road opening, and do the celebrity readings like we did in the past. So just keep your eyes and ears open for that as well. Also, August 1st through the 30th, we will be what is January 8th? I don't know what you're referencing. I'm sorry. Not January 8th, July 8th. My apologies. July 8th, not January 8th. Sorry, I got distracted reading the comments. Restoring the Womb, which is the womb healing and restoration workshop, 4-week healing program that Hunsi Aja is offering, starts August 1st. If you would like to learn more about that, the link for that is in the description as well, okay? Is there anybody that wants a reading? Anyone at all? I don't see anybody putting it in the comment section. No one has a general question. No one wants a reading for the full moon. No one wants a Jupiter in Leo reading. Everybody's good? All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up for the night since nobody wants a reading. Oh, read you. Okay. You just want a general reading, Labalin? Labalin, would you just like a general reading, or do you have a specific question? Direction on where my next home is or when it'll be approved. Okay, absolutely. I got you. Whenever you can, go ahead and send your love offering, and then I'll go ahead and do a pull for you about the direction on your next move. All right. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits to walk with me. My elevated ancestors. La Balin is in the process of moving, or at least she wants to move. What wisdom do her ancestors have for her about this move, about when she'll get approved for her new home, and anything she needs to be aware of in the process of this move? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. We'll clarify, real quick, clarify the Knight of Cups. What do we need to know about the Knight of Cups? Do you live in Florida? Florida or California? You live somewhere sunny, that's by water. Your approval process will actually be very quick. So you literally just need to figure out where you want to be and apply for it. I don't see a whole lot of delays. We got the sun card. So this definitely is about, okay, I knew it was Florida because the sun. I don't know why. Whenever I get the sun card, it's Florida, it's California, it's Costa Rica, it's Dominican Republic. It's always somewhere like that for whatever reason. And yeah, sun card, you're gonna move somewhere sunny, but also you're a person that needs to be around a lot of sun. The weather means a lot to you. I don't know if you have seasonal depression, but being in sunny environments and also good social environments, right? And that's regardless of whether or not you even want to be around other people. In that very Leonic way, you just want the option of being able to, perform or show out or be social, for lack of better words, when you feel like it. So definitely, wherever you're moving, it's probably going to still be somewhere in Florida. We have the Ace of Wands. So approval is going to happen for you fast. So you don't really have to even worry about getting approved for a home or a location. You literally just need to choose what you want. Knight of Cups, the card of an offering, right? Or making an offer, making a declaration, clarified by the Fool card. So taking a risk. What I get from these two, low key, I think you already know where you want to move. You just have this belief that you can't afford it, or either you can't afford it or you won't get approved, or that there's going to be something wrong, right? And that's not true. That's why the Knight of Cups is being clarified by the Fool card, because they're just saying, make your decision and move forward. And your spirits are in alignment with you. They're going to bring you favor as well as protection in this process. So that's what I'm seeing here. I see, wherever you are, not just. I see you moving in somewhere in Florida, staying in the state of Florida. I see you being approved very, very quickly. I don't see any obstacles to you being approved for a home. I see you just got to get clear on where it is you want to be and move forward with that. Let me know if that answered your question. I don't know why, but sometimes when the answers are too simple, I feel like I don't know if anyone else is that kind of a reader, but sometimes I feel like if the answer's too simple, it's like, what else is there? But that's what I'm seeing. All right, I don't see anyone else who has a question, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up for the night. Thank you, MJ, for your love offering. Did you have a question, MJ? If MJ doesn't have a question, I'm going to go ahead and take off. Makes sense. I was worried about Tyrant being in a way, didn't want to doubt Spirit, but the current landlord was being a racist asshole. Yeah, well, that's why you are leaving the current landlord. You know what I mean? So you're going to move into a new place. You don't have to be in that environment with whoever the asshole landlord is. Absolutely. What do you want to know, MJ? Do you want just a general reading? I'm just going to go ahead and give you a general reading if that's what you want. As I'm reading for MJ, if there's anyone else that would like a reading, go ahead and submit your love offering. And then I will read for you after MJ, okay? Ancestors, angels, city master spirits who walk with me. My elevated ancestors. What wisdom does MJ need at this time? Are there any urgent messages that her ancestors want her to receive? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Don't let nobody take you off your square this week. I would caution to say for the rest of the summer, don't get wrapped up in any petty disputes or arguments. It's not helpful to you. It's actually something that you are at a point in your life where you have to start learning to walk away, right? Not just from fights and arguments, but understanding when something is not worthy of your energy anymore. You take a lot of time to leave people alone, right? And Eight of Cups is understanding if I did my best and I gave my best and I kept my word and things still aren't good, that is my sign to leave, because there's another road that I should be on. There's another environment I should be in. Another collective that actually deserves my energy, deserves my strength, deserves my emotions. So I'm going to go find that, right? So when people come around and try to bully or throw their weight around or wrap you up in petty disputes and arguments or confuse you and play with you about who you are, the answer is not to get into a tussle with them. The answer is to go and get the fuck away from them, right? And here's the thing. I think there's a part of you, because this is not Five of Wands, that bully energy is not something that you're just encountering in adulthood, right? So when you feel bullied, it triggers an inner child thing in you. But what your spirits need you to understand is walking away from people who try to play with you about you, instead of checking them or cursing them out or wasting your energy with the back and forth, that does not make you a coward. It actually just makes you wise. And it makes you aware of the fact that that is energy, creative passion, and life force that can be poured into something that is much more fruitful and worthy of you. Okay? So don't get into any petty arguments or fights with people around you. They are going to try. They are going to try to drag you into petty arguments and shit. Don't let it happen. Walking away is going to keep your peace for this summer. Not just your peace, but your energy, your vitality, and your life force, so that you can focus on what's actually worthy of you. Okay? All right, last call before I go and make my dinner and get ready for House of Dragon. Is there anyone else that would like a reading? Let me know if that resonates with you, MJ. Is there anyone else that would like a reading before I take off for the night? Let me read the comments that have been shared. Hold on a second. I was so asleep to what was happening because I mind my business, but just thought about, I thought only had white neighbors move in since he took over. Yeah. So Florida is not that different from Atlanta, I suppose. I've noticed that. That's the thing that happens. That is the thing that happens when you turn around and you look around and you notice that your neighbors, things are starting to get lighter and brighter, and the neighbors that were around when you moved in aren't there anymore. That's a sign. That is absolutely a sign. And it's only going to get worse in the coming years. People weaponizing housing against us in that way as racism rises and gets higher and higher. Um, Gratitude. I've been channeling just stand because I'm definitely done wasting energy on anyone. Absolutely, absolutely. Um, yes, I live in the red territory. I have this conversation with my family all the time because I don't want to say unfortunately. I don't think I'm ever going to leave the South. They really want me to come back to California really bad. But you got me fucked up if you think I'm gonna pay $4,000 a month for a 2 bedroom. You think you got me fucked up if you think I'm gonna pay $4,000 or $5,000 a month for that. So I'm gonna stay in the South, but I'm very strategic about where I go in the South. Um, yes, I live in Atlanta, but I also know that Atlanta is in the South, and that if I go to the wrong city outside of Atlanta, it's some bullshit, right? Love Baton Rouge, love New Orleans, but those two places are also in Louisiana, and that is something that I'm aware of. So I get it. I understand. I understand. Um, Gratitude. I've been channeling just stand because I'm definitely done wasting energy on anyone. We don't have it to waste. Life is tough right now, and there's a lot in there's a lot of movement, and it's just not right. Yes, only live here because the rent was cheap as fuck. I oh I didn't even know they had places that cheap anymore. You taught me something. Child, I wish I could find a place for that kind of price. Whew. That is that you made me stutter. Girl, I wish I can understand why you dealt with it, but I can also understand why you're ready to go. Yeah, yeah. Now I see why you were clinging. I get it. I get it. I absolutely get it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. Love you down. I appreciate you for joining in. Please help me grow this channel. I am trying really, really hard to grow this channel. We've been stuck at around 450 for the last couple of months. So if you could all help me by sharing these readings with people in your life that you know would benefit from them, reposting my live streams when you enjoy them, if you like the content of them. Um, yeah, those two things will help me tremendously. I can do more with my channel once I get to 500 subscribers in terms of different types of streaming options, memberships, hyping, all that stuff. So please, please share the links to these readings with the people in your life that you know would benefit from them, would enjoy them, would engage with them. Okay. Um, I will see you all this Thursday. We will be doing happy hour this Thursday, finally. It's been a while since we've done happy hour. We're going to take a break from Astral Hour and do happy hour this Thursday. I want you all to have a beautiful and peaceful week. Until we meet again on Thursday, take care. Be good. Be kind. Do good. And treat yourself kindly, okay? See you in a few days. Bye-bye.